Smackdown Live. I'm only going to say one thing about Raw. I only saw halfway through the Raw, and then I'm still learning animation, so I said to myself, you know what? I'm not liking this Raw. Might as well do my animation, which I did. Only thing I mainly wondered about was Dean Ambrose. Did he turn heel? My guess is nope. They teased it. Either they're going to try and save it for Super Showdown, which I don't think is going to happen anyway, or they just squashed it here. Basically just squashed it, making it look like he could turn heel, and they just basically trolling everybody. So my guess is nothing happened. Anyway, this SmackDown was enjoyable. It wasn't incredibly great, but it was enjoyable. So I want to say this before I even talk about the match between RTruth and The Miz. I want to see Truth TV again on my TV. When you have RTruth, who is charismatic, that people really do like him. Even if he's not even seen on freaking TV, people still like the guy. I've always liked RTruth. Especially when he turned heel in 2011. I've said it before and I'm saying it again. That was his best work. When he turned heel in John Morrison and started smoking in the freaking arena and started talking about Jimmy. That was his best work. But here, this was pretty damn good. And then, I know people don't care. I know one of my subscribers can't stand no Carmella. But as I've said over and over again, she is a manager that should wrestle periodically to seldomly. If you put her in the right spotlight, like they did with Bob Backlund. When Pat Patterson had him, he said he's the most boring wrestler I have. He's a great wrestler, but he's got no charisma. He's got no personality. What did Vince say? Give him to me. I will make him charismatic. I will make him have charisma because I will know how to spotlight him. I will know how to go with his strength. And in this situation with Carmella, one, she dyed her hair from a blonde to kind of like purplish reddish hair. And that actually goes with her actual natural look. She's not a blonde. She's a brunette. And she actually looks better as a brunette. She looks damn cute. But in the end, having RTruth with Carmella actually works. It makes sense. You want to consider a glorified diva? Fine. Because that's what she is. A glorified diva that is a good manager. That should only wrestle seldomly. Which will work in favor of the person she's taking care of. Now they brought Daniel Bryan onto the show and the crowd went ape shit. They went ape shit for Truth TV. They loved the 7-second dance. I was enjoying it. I'm going like, damn, this is like, if you look at Christian and the Edge in their heyday, when they were doing that 7-second freeze so you could take their picture, that's what the dance was. And it worked. Daniel Bryan saying his bit, saying, I can't wait to go up against The Miz. And then The Miz comes out. And he made the show even more fun. Pretty much telling RTruth, don't you dare take my damn show. You don't got no right to take my show. And Daniel Bryan, you are an amazing wrestler. But that's your problem. You're an amazing wrestler because you're a good guy. And as a bad guy who will do absolutely everything to get that title, you will never beat me. In fact, the only way to beat me was to become a bad guy. And you'll never do it because you will not lose Daniel Bryan ideals. Very well done. It's exactly what we know has to be. He's a good guy. The Miz is a bad guy. Highly defined. And I'm glad to see it on the show. The match itself was not the key here. But admittedly, why did The Miz have to job? I'm sorry, not The Miz. Why did RTruth have to job? You see, that upset me and I got it mixed up. Look, I know Miz TV wouldn't go away just because RTruth has his own show, calling it Truth TV. In fact, it would make Miz TV even more interesting. Having a rival TV show with his former partner 7 years ago actually would be a lot of fun with Carmella and it hurts to know it's probably never going to come back unless it's some type of special thing. I want to see it come back, but that's just me. Next match, and I'm getting it done quickly. Naomi and Asuka versus Mandy Rhodes, who I still say Corey Graves jerks off to when he's not on stage, not in the arena. He's watching her and jerking off in the back. And Sonya Deville, who most people wouldn't mind jerking off to, but they're too scared because they'll get their face broken because she can fight and beat the crap out of you. In the end, was this a great match? Not really an amazing match. But here's the thing. If they are still going to have tag teams for the women, they're going to have to keep doing tag team wrestling. I'm not too upset with Naomi working with Asuka. I still say I would still like Naomi to be an opponent to Asuka so she can learn a lot more than just being her tag partner. Seeing the rear view versus the hip attack would be an amazing thing. That's how I feel. In the end, you have Naomi and Asuka win, and the Iconics at ringside, at commentary, talking, which makes sense. They're going to have their match. It has to happen. But to be honest, seeing the Iconics, not really interested right now. Yes, they're funny to a certain extent. But with no storylines for them, they're random and they're boring. And that's just how I feel. Now, Ty Dillinger versus... he's in my face. I was shocked to see Ty. I was shocked to see Ty Dillinger in a match. How long has it been since Ty has been on Smackdown Live's matches? I mean, you know what I mean. When was the last time he had a match on Smackdown? When? When was it? 6 months ago? 5 months ago? If he's been working on Superstars and a main event, that's where the only place he's been working. But as for Smackdown, I think it's been about 5 or 6 months. What a sad thing to see. And then worse, Shinsuke Nakamura. I had this strange feeling this wasn't going to mean anything. It wasn't. Shinsuke has not been promoted at all. Not one bit. And then you have this match between them both, which wasn't that bad. But then you got Randy Orton coming out, destroying Ty, annihilating Ty. And then after that, you got Shinsuke Nakamura following up with a Kinshasa, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. He basically destroyed him. Excuse me. He destroyed him. When he was right in that spot, it's in my face. He basically kneed that face so well. But this is the thing. What does this really mean? Once Randy Orton said, it gets on my nerves. It pisses me off that he says he's a perfect 10 and walks away. What does it mean? Does this mean you're going to have a program with him? Or is this just a moment for Ty because something's going to go on between Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura? Will they team up together? Will they be a tag team together? Or better yet, will one be the partner to the other one while the other one basically destroys everyone else? My guess is that what's going to happen, I could be wrong, Randy Orton's going to be the boss and Shinsuke's going to be his follower, like his disciple, because he understands what Randy Orton is doing. Or it could be the flip side, and Randy Orton is protecting the Kinshasa hitter. Well, basically saving Shinsuke Nakamura because he respects him. Because he respects who respects him. And that's when Randy Orton is being respected by Shinsuke Nakamura. So Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be protected by Randy Orton. That's just a thought. Becky Lynch versus... Maybe I should wait a moment. Let's get this part over with first. No. You know what? No. Let's get this over with. Becky has her moment with Lana. Look. I love me some Lana. Lana is a beautiful woman. She seems to be a smart woman, but a little too insecure. And I understand it myself because of how I am being depressed with anxiety. I have insecurities because of it. But as gorgeous, as sweet, and intelligent as Lana is, she is just not a very great wrestler. She should be a manager. She's not on the same level as Becky. And in this match, Becky had to slow down a lot to cover for her. No lying about it. And I'm not being mean to Lana. If she truly wanted to be something special, she should go to NXT right now and work in the developmental there and then come back up like Cameron did. If anybody remembers Cameron with Naomi in the Funkadactyls. But you get my point. She really wants to be something. Go back to NXT and be something. But as it stands now, she shouldn't be wrestling. But it's understandable that she's not wrestling as much. And that's okay. Becky destroys her. Now, let's get this part over with, let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Rusev Day is gone. I know I'm not forgetting New Day. I'm not forgetting the bar. I'm going to do this first. Rusev Day is gone. Let's be honest. It's gone. The story behind Aiden English, and he's showing a video package once Lana and Rusev came out, and Rusev wants to know why Aiden did it. Essentially, like I said, Rusev was over, yeah, but he wasn't getting anywhere. He was liked, yes, and without Aiden English, he was liked. He had some following, but Rusev Day made him as big as he is now. Way bigger when Lana had him as Rusev Crush. Way bigger. The crowds loved them even more because Aiden English basically became his manager. Aiden said it best. What destroyed it was Lana. And he said he has something about her in Milwaukee. Really? They're going to go down that route with this? You're really going to go down the route with Aiden English saying that he has evidence of what Lana supposedly did either with himself or somebody else. Really going to go and do this? Which will make Rusev Day really worse for what it is now. Look, people still cheer for Rusev Day. There's no lie about that. Because Aiden's still involved with it. All three of them are still working together. But the minute Aiden is gone, and it goes back to Lana and Rusev, you're going to find the same thing as you found before Rusev was with Aiden English. A huge amount of people cared, but didn't care enough. And as much as anybody say people cared about him before Aiden English, that's not true. That is not true. People cared about him, but not as much once Rusev Day took off with Aiden English. Once they made that transition from a heel to a face. I'm sorry. That's the truth. That's just how I see it. Now, Sheamus versus Big E. Look, I'm not against Big E. I'm not. I do actually like Big E. But I got to say this. Sometimes Big E makes mistakes in the ring. And in this case, he made a couple of sloppy mistakes that could have actually broken. And I'm not saying that Sheamus' tailbone is broken. But he threw him and did a couple of powerbombs. Unfortunately, I don't have those shots. He could have broken Sheamus' tailbone easily the way he was slamming him straight down on his ass. That was bad. I mean, look, neither one of those guys are always perfect when they work in the ring. Sheamus can be sloppy. Big E can be sloppy. But in this case, it was bad. That was just plain horrible. In the end, Sheamus wins. Wait, let's move on. The final thing, where the Academy Award comes in. The Academy Award of 2018 goes to Samoa Joe. Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have the contract signings, usually they're in the ring. They're saying their pieces. There gets to be a fight. And then it's over. But in this situation, they finally decided to change it up, and they gave us an outside segment at somebody's house, probably somewhere where they were. And they showed Joe. Of course, they showed AJ waiting with Paige, and they wondered where Samoa Joe was, and he says he's a coward, doesn't want to face him in the ring. But then you got Samoa Joe saying, I'm at your house in North Carolina, and I'm going to knock at your door. And I'm going to let Nancy and Annie know that I'm here for them. That I'm surprised you're not here for them. And it's going to be important for me to win the WWE Championship this way. I know I'm talking all out of sorts, but that was so good. It's hard to not go out of sort because it was so well done. This is why Samoa Joe, this is why I loved Samoa Joe in Impact Wrestling. And I love him here. If they let him do what he does, he kills it to the extent to make anybody, 1, pissed off, 2, interested, and 3, excited for that match. Let's say that match is shit, but going into that match, the hype is real. He performed so well. And even though AJ was not that great, and he tried. I mean, AJ's not one of the most animated people. He tries. And there's moments that he kills it. And there are moments that are okay, and there are moments that just look bad. In this situation, certain parts of his part, he got it. He did it well. Other parts, he seems to be dropping off. He doesn't sound really scared. But then when you see him breathing heavy, that does compensate for that. In the end, which was the best thing, they don't show Samoa Joe coming to the ring. They don't even show Paige or AJ. They cut off, literally go to black right when Samoa Joe finishes, which was perfect. Now you don't know what's going on unless you watch the network and see what AJ does next. But anyway, it was beautifully done. I loved it. In the end, this was way more superior than Raw. And I am interested in the showdown. But it's just me. Excuse me. You have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.